At the Edible Schoolyard, over the last 20 years, we've developed very specific sets of routines and rituals for our students to follow. This is how we manage our classroom behavior and expectations. Very early on, we realized that students needed a very clear beginning, middle, and end to every class. This provides structure and gives students the opportunity to understand how they're going to move through the spaces in a consistent way each time. In the garden classroom, the beginning always happens in the ramada. The ramada is a central gathering place in the garden. It's a set of hay bales in a circle. It's sized so that the whole class can fit in it. And students walk to the garden with their class and their teacher, and they sit in the ramada and they have what we call the opening circle. The opening circle is a time for transition. They hear about the seasonal tasks of the garden for the day. They have an opportunity to choose their jobs, and they know that once they move up and out of the ramada, the kind of behavior that's appropriate in the classroom is different. They can be up, they can be collaborative, they can be moving around, and the teachers become less of a leader and more of a collaborator and peer. Once students have had the opening circle, they get up and they go to the tool shed to select the tools that they need for the job they're going to be doing that day. The jobs range with two things in mind: that there are seasonal needs that the garden has, and that there are a range of tasks. Some things require a lot of energy, and that's good for some students, and some things require a little energy, and that's also good for some students. We want students to feel like however it is, whatever it is they're in the mood for, there's a job that will be suited to their emotions or feelings that day. Once students have selected the tool, they have about 45 minutes to get to work. This time of the class is collaborative, it's conversational. This is where students are free to interact with each other and their teachers in a space that's different than being inside in a classroom. After students have completed the task, we ring a bell, which indicates that it's time to clean up. Every student is responsible for cleaning and putting away the tools that they use during class so that the tool shed and the garden environment is left exactly as it was when they arrived. Once students have put their tools away, they go back to the ramada and they have what we call a closing circle. The closing circle is a time to close the class, it's a time for reflection, and it's a time for assessment for our students and teachers. This looks slightly different in the kitchen. Entering into the kitchen is a really beautiful ritual. Students come into the space, they stash their backpacks, they put on an apron, and they meet at the central table where they have what we call a chef's meeting. During the chef's meeting, students learn what the recipes are that they're going to be executing that day, as well as any curricular links that are being made to the classroom learning that they've been doing. Once students have had the chef meeting, they split up into their 3 tables. It's roughly 10 students per group, and those students are responsible for executing the recipes of the day. As they begin to finish the recipe, some of them will start to set the table, and the table will be set with a place for every person. Students will then sit down and share what they have prepared together. This is in addition to whatever else they would be eating in the school day. After students have had the opportunity to share what they prepared together that day, they are of course responsible for cleaning up. We know that part of the process of independence and responsibility is being in charge of your space and being in charge of doing work that is real and authentic. So we don't let kids off the hook for doing the dishes. The kitchen needs to look like it did when they arrived, and students do not come to the closing activity, which is also at the central table, until they have finished cleaning the space. The closing activity is a time to check in, to share experiences from the day, and to reflect. These rituals and routines ground the students and the staff in a consistent experience at the Edible Schoolyard.